in your history and enter a space of sacred silence. Close your eyes now and just feel that silence permeate your being. You are not this body of flesh and bone and vessels, but this silent, sacred energy that is the soul. Allow yourself to sink deeper as you enter a deep, deep stillness that massages your being. And now gently open your eyes halfway and notice how you are still in this sacred space, but it's as if you're looking out the windows of the eye, looking out from deep inside the body. You can see your cheeks, your legs, the body that surrounds you. You can see the scene in front of you as you peer from this deep space of silence and observe the physical world. It's as if you were in the world of matter, watching it, but from a deep sanctuary of silence inside. And from this space of the soul, as you see, there's no need to label or think about what you see. No need to figure out what you are seeing. You just observe. You notice the beauty in front of you, but you stay rooted to that deep silence beyond the sound of even a thought. No need to have a commentary. It's as if you are in the world of matter and form and color and sights and sounds, but untouched by it. You are deep inside in the sanctuary of silence. Now imagine that you let go of the world of matter. You rise above the world of sights and sound. You rise above gravity. And you feel yourself as the soul without a body. Silent, weightless, full of vitality and energy. You see and feel yourself as just pure light. Completely free and high above the world. Expansive, full of energy. This is the real you, the soul that exists beyond the costume of the body, beyond the world of matter. Savor this feeling of weightlessness and silence. And having tasted the experience of just being pure light beyond the world, re-enter it with a new perspective. Re-enter it refreshed, silent, renewed. Come back to that same space. And though you see the world around you, the sights and sounds around you, notice how you feel absorbed in the silence of your being. In the world of matter, but not made of it. In the world of matter, but untouched by it. Take a walk back now, back to your daily life, back to the roles you play on a daily basis. And know that by entering this silence regularly, you renew your spirit. When one is very, very silent, you can hear the faintest sounds like the drop of water on a pond. In the same way, when we are very silent, we can hear the voice of the heart. Some call it intuition, some call it the conscience. But it is a natural intelligence, a voice of wisdom that is tucked deep inside of us. And it is there as a compass to guide us towards an elevated and beautiful life. It is there to guide us towards a life that reflects the beauty and goodness of our souls. When we listen to this voice, there is always success and benefit. But to hear it, we need a simple practice. The practice of going beyond sound daily. Take a moment now and slow your breath down. Allow your attention to melt away as your body becomes loose and limp and relaxed. And take your mind to a place far, far away from the world of sound, beyond conversations and chatter, beyond even the sound of your own thoughts. Take your mind to a place where silence can soak into your being. And carry you to that core of stillness that is who you are. Allow that silence to seep into every corner of your heart until you are just simply existing as a spiritual being, free of the sound of commentaries in your mind, far, far beyond the sounds of the world, in a space of sacred stillness. Learn to listen to the intuition. We have to become very silent and to go beyond even the physical dimension, so that we can completely clear the mind. Imagine that the world of form around you dissolves, and you find yourself in a sea of silence, an even higher, deeper silence than you just experienced moments ago. Peace that relaxes and massages the heart. And allow yourself to enter into this deeply. This practice of going beyond sound daily cleans the mind and prepares us to hear that voice of the heart that is sometimes as quiet as a small drop in a pond. It's a simple practice we just have to remember. From your space of silence right now, ask yourself a question that you've been pondering, something that you've been wanting to understand. Ask yourself a question in the silence and just listen. Listen quietly for any images that may come up, any responses to the question. And pay attention not only in this moment, but throughout this week, having posed the question from a space of silence. Pay attention to any clarity that arises from that space and allow your intuition to guide you towards a beautiful life.
Hello, everyone. Very warm welcome to Brahma Kumaris, Silicon Valley, in the monthly series all about thoughts from A to Z. Today is class number 3. And as we've been deep diving into thoughts and understanding various different aspects of thoughts, we will continue our journey. Today, we will focus on thought therapy, right? Creative thought therapy, on how we can start working on healing the thoughts. Because all the suffering, all the pain, or all the joy, everything that we experience is through the thoughts. These thoughts become feelings, feelings become emotions. Obviously, we all want good experiences. And in order to do that, thought therapy is necessary. So that is what we will focus on in today's class. But as always, we will first get started with a guided meditation, which is also based on thoughts. And in a way, it is thought therapy. So invite you all to join me in this Raj Yoga meditation, totally thought-based. And then we get into the class. Very warm welcome to all of you. Kindly invite you to join me in this meditation. Relax. You deserve it. You're worthy of it. Relax means rest your attention on your truth, that you are a pure being loved by God. No condition needed, no explanations needed. period, you are loved by God. And you are loved by all 8 billion souls. Rest your attention on this one thought and see the magic that occurs. Your mind will try to analyze even this one thought. But see if you can let go of that analysis and accept this thought in your heart. How would this world be like when all 8 billion souls loved each other dearly? Love means cooperation, helped each other progress, go forward. Your joy is my joy. Your pain is my pain. I'll help you out, and I know you will help me out. A world of harmony, peace, and love. But that world starts first with me. Whether other souls are doing it or not, what am I doing? Am I loving everyone to the best of my ability? Or do I put conditions? Every drop of pure vibration helps make this place, this world, a better place. Let that drop be a valuable contribution of love. Loving someone who's virtuous, who's obedient, who likes you is very easy. But loving someone who's mostly demonstrating weakness, who's disobedient, who's critical, is something special that only a special soul can do. That is when I am loving to the best of my ability. So one is a very noble thought that I want to love all 8 billion souls just like God does to the best of my ability. But then the mind creates other thoughts. That's not possible. If I love them, then they will not change. They need to know that I don't like them. They need to change. They are unable to change because they don't have the spiritual strength or the mental, emotional strength. They don't have the confidence, the soul power. Who's going to let them? Mind might say, not my problem. They need to figure it out. Why did they end up in that mess? They should know better. That is called someone who's already fallen, kicking them further away, pushing them further down. That's not loving to the best of my ability. Love means to never give up. Love means unshakable faith in others' goodness. This goodness exists in everyone, every soul. But just in the journey we've taken, some of us, through a lot of darkness, we've forgotten about that goodness that exists within us. And we've worn some subtle costumes of selfishness. Can I lend them the vision of their truth? Can I see in them that beauty that they are unable to see? This is called loving to the best of my ability. They don't know how to love themselves. That is why they are living with those weaknesses. The one who loves themselves will not allow any obstacles in self-progress, will not allow any obstacles that damage them. So they don't know how to love themselves to the best of their ability. But can I help them? The entire universe and God becomes on my side when I keep this pure intention that I will love everyone to the best of my ability. Basically, it means I will never give up on anyone. I will embrace every soul. I will see everyone's goodness and give them the support that they need to come out of their illusionary weaknesses. This is godlike seed which I dissolve as I am this beautiful royal child, a powerful and pure soul. Very warm welcome, everyone, to class number 3 on in all about thoughts from A to Z. We have 2 more classes. This is a 5-class series, as we have 5 Sundays this month in the month of March. But before I get started with this, if you could help me revise what we had covered in the last class. Last class, if anybody, folks who had joined last class, do you recollect what we had talked about? You can also raise your hand if you want to speak up or put it on the chat. Ask us questions, maybe give us a quiz and ask questions. How thoughts are generated, sources of thoughts. Yes, that was one big one. Fewer thoughts are more valuable. Yes, yes. We also talked about types of thoughts. Types of, there you go. Yes, type of thoughts, positive, negative, waste, and necessary. Yes. Very good. Very good. Um, how to reduce the speed of thoughts. Yes, absolutely. And how do we do that? How do we reduce the speed of thoughts? We did not discuss the technique. Yeah, I think we just got started a bit, but we didn't get through it full of it. But yes, I know week passes by, and it's amazing how much we forget, right? Is it understanding the type of thought and then letting it go? Yes, we started talking about that as well, and we were one of the key points that we were talking about, connect with the divine. Yes, that is certainly going to reduce the speed of the thought if we connect to the divine. We were basically saying that a lot of these different types of thoughts that are emerging. First, we also talked in the first class that thoughts are being created in the mind. That is very important to understand. Be more economical with your thoughts. Yes, but how do I become economical with my thoughts, right? That is what we were started talking about, reducing the speed of thoughts. And in general, we will know that whenever the mind is creating a lot of negative and waste thoughts, the speed is automatically very high. And this is typically if you want to call someone, you call your friend and you want to complain about someone. Complaining is automatically some kind of negative talk, right? You're going to talk about their mistakes or their behavior which you didn't like. That conversation will last for an hour and you'll still feel you have a lot more to say. It is all repetitive. It's not going to be new information. You're just going to say the same thing again and again in different ways. Takes a lot of time. And the same way, if you want to call your friend and praise someone about someone, it won't take that much time. It's generally a very positive conversation. It's not repetitive, it's not filled with question. So that is where that's one of the biggest demarcation that we need to understand between the types of thoughts. So root cause of high speed of thoughts. We'll start with that and then we will get into the deep dive of how to get into the thought therapy. So what is the root cause of high speed of thoughts? One of the answers is here, but if you could share what is the root cause of high speed of thoughts? Maybe from your own experience, when do the speed of your thoughts, that is lot more quantity of thoughts, get created in your mind? Ego is hurt. Okay, very good. Why does ego get hurt, right? Let's go deeper. Not having clarity. Why don't we have clarity? Overthinking and worrying. Why do we worry? Why do we get anxious? We made some mistakes, so what? Fear. Why do we fear? Yes, these are all negative thoughts, right? Whether it is worrying, anxious, fear, family issues. So what if there are family issues? Why is the mind creating so many thoughts? Ignorance of the right thing. Very good. So, in general, we will see there are multiple reasons, but one of the reasons that no control. Yes, behind in the ego mind, being in the ego mind. Okay, very good. It gets into fight or flight mode. Very good. Very good. All good thoughts here. They're all pointing towards mind creating a lot of negative thoughts. It's why is mind getting into that flight and fight mode, right? Why is it getting into that particular state? Why am I not able to control it? Family issues, work issues, health issues, all kind of issues. This is a world of issues. But I should know a method, right? To it is my mind. I should have more control over it. Why don't I? One of the main reasons why there are so many thoughts is we are feeding incorrect content. Mind has become obese. It needs a diet plan. Seriously needs a diet plan. We need to give it some organic, healthy food instead of the junky food, poisonous food called news, social media, over socializing, too much time at work. All of these things are overfeeding. Content is food. The more food you feed it, the more thoughts it will produce. If you have a big, long conversation with your friend about all the things in the world, your neighborhood, and all of that, your mind will create a lot more thoughts because it will keep whatever it listened to and whatever you talked, it will keep creating commentary about that. So Meghna is very careful in how much she talks. I don't want to sit and because then if I talk a lot, then my mind will, why did you say that, Meghna? You shouldn't have said that. What if they misunderstood you? And she doesn't like to listen also too much. So her phone conversations are bare minimum. She's not on any social media. News she will read only once a week. That too just a glance. I don't even think I spend 5 minutes on any news site. I'll just quickly glance headlines, move on. If something is very, very violent or disturbing, I will send my good wishes there and move on. One of the main reasons is lack of self-care. We are more and more feeding and we are trying to fix everything outside versus every problem starts within. It starts with our thoughts. So Meghna's full time is on self-care. Even when she's at work, her self-care is ongoing. I have multiple alarms on my phone to pause and see what are my thoughts doing, what is my mind doing. Do I remember who I am? One of the biggest cause of all of this is too many repetitive, negative, and wasteful thoughts. We're either thinking about people. Why did they tell this to me? They shouldn't have done this. Why are they treating me like this? Focus is on people. Wasteful. Why? People are not in my control. Past is not in my control. Future is not in my control. So very wasteful. We talked about wasteful thoughts, right? They are past, future, and people. These three big categories. No matter how many thoughts you create about these three categories, past, future, or people, nothing will change. People, we get the ego thinks it can control people, but with a lot of fear that what if they go out of my control? Because nobody will be in my full control forever. The moment they gain power, they will be out of my reach. So these negative and wasteful thoughts are trying to fix something that is unfixable. There is some unsettled business. So all of these cause the speed of thoughts to increase, but the root cause of all of this is false awareness. Once you know who you truly are, none of these will exist. Knowing yourself itself means self-care. You will automatically start taking care of who you are. Today, most of us think of ourselves as I am this friend, I am this gender, I am this person in society, I am this volunteer, I am this professional, I am this relation. So we are only taking care of that limited identity. We are not taking care of the real one from which all of these branches, different roles are stemming out of. We are pouring water on every branch and leaf, not on the root. Who's the real me from which all of these different dimensions of identities are coming out? If I am not there, this body will not exist, means gender will not exist. No relation will exist, no profession will exist, no title, role, nothing will exist. So self-care is lacking because I don't even know who the real self is. The more you understand yourself is self-care. That is the first thing. After that, you will never want to feed yourself content that is damaging. Automatically knowing the self means negative and wasteful thoughts will not occur. So we will go deeper into that in the upcoming class slides. But this is one of the deepest root cause of high-speed thoughts. At any time you feel like you have a question or you want to share something, feel free to raise your hand or put it on the chat, right? And I'll continue further. So less thinking, is through thought therapy. High speed of thoughts automatically, the quality of thoughts is not good. When the mind is creating a lot of negative and wasteful thoughts, the speed of thinking is very high. Very unrestful situation. So we need to move away from that into this positive, where we create only necessary and positive thoughts. Then the speed will automatically go down. And it is only from this space you can reach that dead silence, zero thoughts. In meditation, you will have few seconds where you're not creating any thoughts, but you're just experiencing your loveful nature or your joyful nature without any thought. But that state from, we might be creating 50 thoughts, 60 thoughts in a minute. I can't go to zero without taking this thought therapy with us. So I'm reading this question, a little long one. And I'm going to I'm going to just copy this question for everyone because it's a long one, and I'm not going to put the name here if you don't want to. So this is the question that is posted, and I'm just going to read through it. The lovely spiritual attitude that you're teaching us is wonderful. It has a positive effect on people we interact with. But what do we do when people take advantage of us? When you're kind, people sometimes misbehave. My work colleague says inappropriate things to me, even though told him many times that I am married and not interested and please stop. So I reported him to my HR department for harassment. So how should my attitude towards him be now? I see him daily at work. Do I ignore him? Should I be friendly? It's hard for me to send him blessings when I don't feel happy with his past behavior. This is a genuine question. We are not disclosing any names, so I hope it is okay, because even if I read that long sentence, I think it would have not registered with everyone. So I just copied it. And it's a very relevant situation. Most important to recognize here is that your mind is creating bunch of thoughts, right? It's created a lot of logic, which is saying that I've done everything I could. I've told this person to stop, they didn't. I've also reported to HR. I can't send this person good wishes for after what all they've been, inappropriate comments and everything they've been doing, and I can't send them any good wishes. That's fine. That's totally fine that you can't do. Your mind is telling all of this, by the way. You are not saying it. Your mind, your conditioned mind, our mind has been conditioned a lot. We've been on a very long journey, multiple, births that we've taken. Every birth, new beliefs, new experiences, new influences. As a result, we have certain beliefs. And what are those beliefs? People should behave like this. They should have some integrity. They should have some morals. They should have some this, and that. And nothing wrong in it. But what we tend to have is a lot of expectations from others to hold the same standard. And yes, if they're not able to, we will tell them that, hey, these are my standards. If you can't meet them, then, I'm going to tell you that these are my standards. So please stay away. Be careful. And I'm also going to tell HR if you don't stop, right? So all of that is fine. But having expectations that others should be like me is something that is a big question mark, because they are not going to be like, because they've not taken the same journey as you. They've not been taught the same morals. They'll say, that's not my problem. They should have learned. Well, they did not. What am I going to do? I know something really valuable, that you need to have integrity, that you need to have certain ethics, some morals. You can't be so loose. I know something valuable, that how can I share this with them? How can I make a valuable contribution here? So, yes, I have to protect myself, but at the same time, never give up on others. At least I can maintain this good wish that I hope someone comes in their life who teaches them these valuable things. They didn't get it in the long journey they took, but I have it. I'm not able to give it to them, but I at least maintain a good wish that somebody gives it to them. If I take a simple example, like for you, maybe suppose you've been grown up in an environment where vegetarian food was the one that was very encouraged, and they talked very badly about non-vegetarians, that how can you kill someone and eat it? For you, it is very crisp clear that how can you kill an animal and eat it? Whereas people, 99% of this world population, for them, it's nothing. There's so many animals. What is there? What is wrong in it? kill and eat. Why is there this difference between morals and the way we think? It is because of the way you are brought up. So you need to broaden your understanding to kind of get all of this. So bottom line is everybody is going to be different. What I like, indeed, I should believe in it and I should protect it, but I can't expect others to be the same. But if I know something valuable, how can I pass it onto others? All right, we will move on with the other things, with the creative thought therapy here. So there are a few things we're going to talk about in this creative thought therapy. And actually, before even I get, let's actually get started here with the creative thought therapy. First therapy that we're going to use is spiritual knowledge. We kind of actually, each of these methods that we will talk in healing our thoughts will go deeper and deeper. So, but the basis all of this thought therapy is spiritual knowledge. Without the right knowledge, no solution will, be permanent. It will be a very shallow way of changing anything. But if you want more permanent changes, spiritual knowledge is the foundation. I need to be spiritually educated. That is when I can educate the mind. I am not creating the thoughts. Mind based on various different factors that we looked in the last class, right? And those sources where we talked about upbringing is a big influence, content that you're feeding the mind is a big influence, your whole beliefs that became part of, came due to the environment, religion, experiences, influences, relations, all of those things built up your belief. So these many different factors are affecting your mind and the kind of thoughts it creates. So if I want to change the thoughts in the mind, first I need to educate myself with holistic knowledge of who I am. Then we will get into educating the mind. But without educating myself, I cannot guide the mind. In fact, I will continue to get misguided by the spiritually illiterate mind. Next, we will talk about another strategy, which is break and steer thoughts. How we can apply break to our thoughts and how we can maneuver them in different directions, how to develop these type of thoughts. We will talk about this strategy. Third therapy method will be the power of truth. This goes a lot deeper and it's a most powerful technique. It acts like a vacuum cleaner. When you are stabilized in your truth, you have this vast empty space, open space. It's totally empty of any vices, any negativity or waste, your truth. And in that, you can kind of suck in all the negativity of the mind. That is the power of truth. And then last, we will use silence as a method to heal the thought, right? To basically, thought therapy will be 4 different methods. Each one gets deeper and deeper, more subtler and subtler. Spiritual knowledge, break and steer thoughts, power of truth, and practicing silence. So the recording of classes are all in our SV Brahma Kumaris YouTube channel, and I will share it towards the end of the class. Please remind me if that's okay. Then I will not get into the middle of this. So first we'll start with spiritual knowledge, how it heals thoughts. We will talk about that first. First of all, I need to know that this tiny point of light, the spiritual being that I am, has 3 subtle organs. Like the body has 5 sensory organs, right? We all know about the eye, nose, ear, mouth, and skin. Those are the 5 senses. In addition, we have hands, legs, brain, physical heart, a lot of these different things. They're all organs of the body. They are visible with the eyes. Whereas the subtle organs of the soul, first of all, is invisible. It's an invisible point of light right here. And it also has invisible organs, mind, intellect, and sanskaras, which is the subconscious mind. Mind is the one that creates thoughts. Intellect is the one that makes decisions and is also a temporary memory space. So everything we are discussing in today's class is stored in the intellect, which is also called conscious mind. Now, conscious mind has very limited space. So all the social media that you're reading or emails that you're reading, news that you're reading or chit-chatting you're doing, it all gets stored here. The space is limited. So if you overfeed yourself, everything gets evaporated. We will not remember even what I talked today tomorrow because of this overfeeding. But if you, whatever you listen today, if something appealed and you made an immediate change in your life, you used that theoretical knowledge and made it practical, then it becomes part of your subconscious mind, which is a permanent memory space. Subconscious, sanskaras, subconscious mind. So these are the three subtle faculties. In order for us to change our sanskaras, our personality traits of fear, anxiety, you talked about all of these negative traits, right? If I want to change those traits, I have to use my intellect. Through intellect, I will change the mind. Why intellect? Because this is the temporary memory space. All the spiritual knowledge that we are going to discuss or are discussing is stored here. Through this, I'm able to control the mind. And when the mind and its thoughts change, the personality traits also change. Does intellect mean brain? No. Brain is the hardware. It just takes the, now intellect makes the decision, like 2 or 3 thoughts popped up. Meghna, tomorrow you should be wearing red color. Another thought comes, no, you should be wearing blue. One more thought comes, no, Meghna, tomorrow blue, red is too much. Monday you can't start with red. So final decision made was blue by the intellect. Now this thought that was finalized goes to the brain. Brain then makes the body choose that blue colored dress and wear it. So brain is the one that transmits signal to the body through the nervous system. So that is the difference between intellect is software, brain is the hardware. Could you please share the difference between mind and intellect? Do they store different memories? Mind is not a storage so much. Mind is more which just create thoughts, ideas. And intellect is the one that also stores a lot of information, the temporary information, like new information is stored in the intellect. And intellect also makes decisions based on what it knows, its understanding, the soul's understanding. Souls uses intellect to make the decision between all of these 10 thoughts, which one should I choose? So intellect is in Raj Yoga meditation for us, intellect is the most important subtle organ of the soul, where we learn all the spiritual knowledge. And through intellect, we start controlling the thoughts in the mind. You can say instead of control, guiding or mentoring the mind. And then from that, your personality trait, sanskara, your subconscious mind will start changing. So intellect and mind basically need empowering content, which is the food to heal thoughts. So that is why we said spiritual knowledge. In order for me, like most of us, if we are not daily studying something empowering or listening to something empowering, then our intellect is like stone intellect. It can't think big. It can't go deep. Then it will be making a lot of assumptions and will have a lot of questions. It has short-sightedness because it hasn't expanded itself by reading and understanding things a lot deeper. Somebody committed a murder. Very easy to say, man, that person so cruel, committed a murder, hang them to death. Okay. But a real person will say, yes, that was not the right thing to do, but I'm not going to be very violent. I want to understand. Nobody in their right senses will do it. What went wrong? So that is called a divine intellect, which will never quickly assume and conclude, which will not be so reactive, which will want to weigh everything. And that comes as we start reading. I've never seen myself expand like the love that I feel now for people. I've never ever felt like this. First, starting with me, I've never felt so much love for my own self, so much acceptance for myself. Like 10 years back, Meghna had so much judgmental, on herself. The perfectionist ego that she had would make her feel all the time guilty. A lot of attacks on the self. But this spiritual knowledge has helped me expand my understanding. So, daily study, my days early in the morning starts with reading something empowering. We call it Murli. In Brahma Kumaris, there's like 2 to 3 pages article every day that we read. It talks so beautifully about who you are, who God is, why the world is the way it is. So it starts with that. Then I sit in deep reflection. You can call it meditation, where I'm deeply expanding on what did I read? How am I going to use it in my real life? What will be the benefit from it? And then I start expanding on understanding myself. Magically, the more I have understood myself, it helped me in understanding every soul that I interact with. At the core level, there is no difference between the 8 billion souls. The more you feel that, the more automatic respect comes to every being. You'll not be trying to be loving automatically. And then the last is the implementation. Because you read with the intention of bringing it into your life, right? You reflected on it, you churned on it, then that will become part of your life. The way I evaluate people has totally changed. If I see someone getting upset in the meeting at work, immediately my peaceful, loveful vibrations will start going to this soul. Old Meghna would have judged, look at this person, will not let anybody talk. How rude. First, now I will send all of those vibrations. And then, indeed, if I have to speak and say something, I will. But not, judging this person, dismissing this person, not like that anymore. So, because I read and understood, and I kept the intention, I want to bring this in my life. How did it become part of my life? Because I reflected and went deeply. Meghna used to write pages after reading. She would write down what she understood, how is she going to use it. And then in meditation, go even more deeper. And then it became part of my practical life. So when we do this, what happens? Showing it to you through example here. So this is our subconscious mind, where all our personality traits, right, our habituated thought patterns, they are here. 90% of our life goes the way it was in the past, meaning nothing new is being done. Same way we brush our teeth, same way we eat the same types of thing, everything is a pattern. On an autopilot mode, subconscious mind pushes a thought, do this, the mind pushes it into action, it pushes it to the brain, comes into action, and that becomes again part of my subconscious. Meaning the thought pattern that comes into action is being underlined in the subconscious. This is powerful. The soul likes this action, keep sending it again and again, which is what becomes habit or your personality trait. When this autopilot mode is running, intellect is not doing anything. Intellect is not sitting and deciding which thought should go forward, which thought should not go forward. But when we understand that certain habits are very damaging, that is when we start reflecting. that, man, this is not okay. This particular thought or action or behavior is causing a lot of problem. It could be that every day in the night, I watch something before sleeping, some kind of show or something, right? And I generally, maybe that habit is you watch one show and then after that you'll watch something else, and it goes on for 2 hours. And you always end up feeling very tired. You get up next day tired. You are cranky, irritable. You reach at work tired. And this is a vicious cycle. So now you want to change it. So, first key to that is spiritual knowledge, taking self care. And that is when, as you start taking more and more spiritual knowledge and expand your understanding of everything, there are three features that get enabled in the intellect. They are called filter, control, and guide. Intellect will now intervene and say, hey, I have new piece of information. You can't send this thought as is to the mind. This is a negative thought. I need to filter it. This is just too many desires. I need to cut them down. I will control it. This is not the right way to think. I will guide you. You could change it a little bit. Now the intellect is now getting involved. It is called manual mode. No more, because that automated mode is causing me damage. It was not the right way. So now it's only through spiritual knowledge and some practices that maintain a pure lifestyle, introverted, contemplative lifestyle. This is when these three features are active. Typically, we are trying to guide others to change. We are trying to control others to change. We are filtering people out of our life. This person, I'm not going to talk to them. But in Raj Yoga at Brahma Kumaris, we are taught internally change the way you are. Outside, you don't have any control, anyways. There are too many situations outside. How much will you try to change? It takes a lot of energy and return is very little. So instead, internal changes. So then, this subconscious mind, the thought will come here, it will get filtered, and this automated thought will get cancelled. Instead, a new set of thought will be sent, and that new thought will be like, you need to go back to sleep in now. You can't do this anymore. It is causing you so and so damage. So no more, right? So it is changing your thought patterns, but it was through spiritual knowledge. Is this clear? Is this particular method clear on how the intellect can control the mind through these three features? We will take one more example, but I just want to ask, does this concept or this method of thought therapy, is this clear? Any questions on this? Okay, we will go through an example. Thank you, Joanne. Um, so suppose, I have this thought that is blaming someone, maybe blaming someone for the kind of life I have, maybe blaming a particular relative. Because of them, there's no peace in the house. Whenever they come, they totally spoil the environment of the house. So I have this sanskara or this personality trait of blaming. We all do. Meghna thought she didn't. After meditation, she came to see a lot of self blame and also blaming others. But now it has come down significantly. Total responsibility and accountability, but not blaming myself or anybody else. So, anytime you blame, your mind will become very restless. Why does mind become restless when we blame others? If anybody could help answer here, why does mind become restless when we blame someone? It is an automatic consequence, but why does it become restless? That's not our true nature, okay? Because it's against our true nature of the soul, okay? That is true because we hurt them. Suppose I don't say anything to that person. I don't say anything. I'm just thinking it. That, yes, then we are putting ourselves in a helpless place instead of taking control over what we can. It is a negative thought. Intellect is not a. The answer what Joanne gave is quite right, actually, because blaming means I'm waiting for someone else to come and fix my miserable life. I'm saying because of them, my life is not good. They come and spoil everything. They say the wrong things. They create a lot of mess. They create confusion. Means what? Till they don't change, I can't be restful. So there is no ownership here. I'm waiting for someone else to change. So anytime I am blaming, I'm signing up for a miserable life. That misery will not end till I don't stop blaming. But we think if this person changes or they move, my misery will end. It will never end. Some other person will come and I'll blame them because it is out of control and we feel helpless. Yes, our body language can tell. So if this is the pattern, right? Now I have to understand and reflect. Intellect is not doing anything. Intellect is actually supposed to intervene. Something that is endangering the peace of the mind, intellect is supposed to intervene. But because we've been feeding intellect all kind of incorrect information, right? Like newspapers, social media, and we have all kinds of incorrect beliefs. People should behave like this, people should behave like that because of them, because we've gotten into such easy life mode of blame, blame, blame. You have the right belief, how can you help the other person also on the right side? Or well, not my responsibility. So intellect is the main organ here, and when I start feeding it the knowledge that I, the soul, my nature is peace, my nature is joy. Nobody can cause me to become restless or sorrowful. I am choosing. And if someone is coming and creating a disturbance in my life, it is the return of the karma. So as I understand that nobody will come and do anything to me just like that, we are all tied into the account of give and take, which is called karma, means deeds, action. So if I had sown some actions of disturbance in the past in someone's life, that same action will come back to me. But that's not a problem. I'm not, now I don't start and blaming myself. I was blaming this person. Now karma theory I understood. Now I'll blame myself. Why did you do this? Why did you disturb this person? No. I also need to know that I, the soul, my eternal nature is peace, love, and joy. I write my own destiny. Nobody can spoil my life or nobody can make my life. I am the one who's choosing how my life should be. So as I awaken with this spiritual knowledge and meditation practice, these three features emerge. And then they start filtering the thoughts. I will say no more blaming anyone. I take charge. Nobody can create my life. I am the one who's choosing. I'm not going to blame anyone. I'm going to take accountability. I will take charge. And as a result, those thoughts get filtered. New set of thoughts are given that whenever this person comes, I am not going to let them disturb me. Instead, I'm going to very sweetly and peacefully talk to them, reason out with them if needed, but they can behave however they want to. They can't touch my peace. Nobody can touch my peace. So these thoughts then change my personality trait. I, the other person's karma, not mine. Karma is a consequence. Other way around is also true, that indeed if that person is creating some kind of mess, they are indeed performing a wrong karma. They will bear the consequences of that wrong karma. But if I also choose to perform a wrong karma because somebody did a wrong deed, I will also do a wrong deed. They are anyway sowing some bitter melons in their backyard. And I'm saying they are sowing 5 bitter melons. I'm going to sow 10 bitter melons. Do I want to compete in that? Do I want to be? Ego will say, oh, they did this to me, I will do worse to them. That is ego's language. When the soul awakens, this is where intellect needs to be wise and divine. Weak intellect and stone intellect will say, I will give back to them. I'll teach them a lesson. They don't deserve any goodness. This is all doing negative karma, which will again come back to me. So I want to settle it or I want to create more karmic bondages. It is a question for me. So we will here, as we educate ourselves, that is when the intellect starts intervening the habituated thought patterns and it makes a change. Any questions on this? So we are using knowledge to heal blameful thoughts. How? Through the 3 features in the intellect. All right. We will go to the next one. We might not have enough time today, but we'll at least set up the foundation for it and we will continue in the next class. So break and steer thoughts. They also heal. Now, how do I do that? We will talk about that. First, we'll start with a question. How do you stop? Oh, there's already the answer is already here. How to stop train of thoughts? Right? One might wonder, how do you start? And many people will say, okay, take a walk, do some deep breathing, divert your mind, this, that. Many answers come. Meditation. Actually, when the train of thoughts is running, at times it is very difficult to meditate at that time. So we are taught a very powerful, unique method, which I've never ever heard ever before, is that create another thought. One might say my mind is already overloaded with so many bandwagons of thoughts. You're saying create one more thought. Only a thought can cut a train of thoughts. Just like if a thorn has pricked you, then you have to use a needle to remove that thorn. You will say, I'm already hurting, there's a pointy thing inside me, and you're going to prick me again. I'll say there is no other choice. Only a pointy thing can take out another pointy thing. Same way, only a thought can cut or put a full stop to train of thoughts. But this cannot be any ordinary thought or any weak thought. It has to be a very wise thought. For example, if a kid throws tantrum in the mall saying, I want this, I want this, mom will not say, no, you're not getting it. You just shut, you don't ask for it. I'm not going to give it to you. Mom will not do that. She is very wise. She knows if I say that, is going to just lay down and create a scene here. So we nicely try to manipulate them, steer them in a different direction, and they forget about what they were asking. So that was a steering conversation. So that is what we're going to do. This mind is like a mischievous child, very stubborn. We can't treat it just like that with an ordinary thought. We have to come up with some wise thoughts. And then, second is sometimes parents, when the kid is at home and is throwing a tantrum, I want this, I want this, parent will say, no, you are not getting it. They'll start crying. That's okay. We are not going to give in. That's not good for you. So you're not getting that. If you want something else, talk about it. So it's a powerful break thought. No means no. Mind, generally, we have to start with steering thought, because if we have not been controlling or guiding our mind, it's not going to listen to break thoughts. It will keep creating thoughts. So we start with wise thoughts and then we come into powerful thoughts, which will be like break. Immediately, full stop to that train of thoughts. So we will talk about these thoughts more in the next class, but just leaving you with one more thought here on how to develop brake and steering thoughts. Any guesses? How can we develop these brake and steering thoughts that can stop and steer the thoughts in the mind? How do we develop these types of thoughts? Any guesses for it? Meditation? No, that was the last response. Okay, no. Being aware of such thoughts first, okay? Gratitude, listening to inspired talks, then replace them with positive thoughts. Okay, a positive thought, replace gratitude, prepare a positive thought beforehand or a futurist thought, think of happy thoughts, positive thought. Very good. All are good answers here. Bottom line, whatever you said will develop through spiritual knowledge. Even this break and steering thoughts can only be developed through spiritual knowledge. It is the key to emerge our ability to maneuver the mind with break and steering thoughts. Okay, stop. I remember that it's steering, right? Stop. I don't remember what the O stands for. And then steer, something like that. All right, so we will talk about more about this these thoughts, what are some different types of brake thoughts and steering thoughts, and when we will use them to change our waste thoughts about past, future, and present. We will talk about that in the next class. Any questions that you have about this series so far? Do you have any questions? You can ask them. You can raise your hand or put them on the chat. No questions? All good? Okay, link to the previous classes, yes. Oops. Let's see. This is the playlist, that's the YouTube channel from Brahma Kumaris. And all the previous series, everything should be here. And even future classes that we record will all be here. So you should be able to check it out there. And if you have a minute, please stay back for a short guided meditation. Take a pause throughout the day and see what mind is doing. Don't identify with any thought that is created in the mind, good or bad. It is not yours. You are a being of silence. And your nature is pure joy, pure love, uninterrupted peace. Don't be hurt by a silly thought or a negative thought. Don't be fed up of a wasteful thought. And don't feel egoistic about a good thought. Otherwise, whole day, based on the thought, your love for the self will change. Your peace will change. So know yourself accurately, that you are exactly like God, and your mind will change and start aligning with your godlike nature. Always create peaceful and happy thoughts, but it requires the master, I, the soul, to be awakened to my truth. Till I don't awaken, mind will be non-dual. Sometimes good thoughts, sometimes not so good thoughts. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead. See you again next week at the same time. Take care, everyone.